Hey guys, this is Joji, and today I'm going to be discussing Darius the Great Deserves Better, which is the second book after Darius the Great is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. I've already read Darius the Great is Not Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the general stuff because I did not take notes. I need to get better at this. I need to at least take notes of abbreviated notes, something that works, but I need to figure that out. Either way, spoilers are coming soon. I really do recommend you read Darius the Great is Not Okay first, and then Darius the Great Deserves Better, because they're amazing books. I truly do love them a whole lot in my little heart. Darius the Great Deserves Better, right? First things first, I really enjoyed this book. I really did, but I would say I prefer Darius the Great is Not Okay, and maybe it's because of the actual storyline of Darius the Great is Not Okay. We follow the same character, but the same character is going through different things in both books. In the first book, Darius is mostly in Iran to visit his family. It's very interesting because we get to see his relationship or friendship with Sohrab develop. Again, he's mostly in Iran, so it's a different scenario, it's a different thing. He's with his family. You know, he's not in high school or anything. And this one, he is in high school. So we get to see how his life is back home a little bit more than we did in the first book, which I really enjoyed. From the beginning of this book, you see hints that Chip likes Darius. And I've called it ever since the beginning of the book, okay? Chip likes Darius, and Darius doesn't realize it, which is so frustrating, because I'm like, are you that clueless, bro? Are you... Chip is shown a lot more in this book than the last, which makes sense because obviously Chip has a thing for Darius. In this book, we get to know a lot more about Chip as a person instead of an idea or concept that is mentioned by Darius. We don't get to know a lot about Trent other than little things about like his brother and Chip's sister being together and Chip having a niece and all of that. Obviously, I forgot to mention. In the first book, we get an inkling of Darius being gay, but we don't get confirmation. In this book, we get confirmation, which I love because I knew Darius was gay since the first book, or at least I felt like it, because I thought Darius and Sohrab would have a thing with each other, but I'm glad that they are just friends because not everything's about romance. There's some very good platonic relationships that last forever, and I just love that for Sohrab and Darius. Sohrab, at the end of the book, I'm going all over the place, I'm not going in order, but Sohrab at the end of the book mentions to Darius that he's now a refugee, which is why he hasn't been able to talk to Darius. And I love the fact that Darius was musing about a life with Sohrab, you know, in Portland, even though at that time the future of Sohrab and his mom was pretty much in the dark because they didn't know where they were going. It was just very uncertain. But I really like that Darius is just so excited about his friend being closer to him than before. So another thing is that this book deals a lot with insecurities, specifically insecurities about being intimate. So Darius has a boyfriend. Landon is okay. I don't like him that much. Landon, like, he's more comfortable being intimate with people, aka Darius. Darius is not, just because he doesn't have much experience. Like, Landon is his first boyfriend and everything. So there's a lot of hesitancy there. There's a lot of reluctance and insecurities. Landon, I understand that he is okay with intimacy because he has had past experiences with that, obviously. So he's more comfortable, more open to that idea. But he should have maybe waited for Darius a little bit more. Like, I get when he says that, like, you know, intimacy is important to him and all of that. I feel like he's the type of person that would say, you know, if you really love me, you would do this for me. And I think he did mention that in the book, like, oh, Darius, if you loved me, you know, you would have sex with me or something, or you would be more understanding or whatever. I really don't like that comment. It kind of undermines the other person's choice, I guess. It undermines the other person's ability to say no because you're putting that excuse. A lot of the times Darius mentions how he's uncomfortable whenever Landon touches his stomach. In the first book, I think he's mentioned as being overweight or chubby, at least. In this book, even in the first few pages, I think he mentions how he goes running every morning to lose weight, on top of being on the football team, which is a lot of running. I just really like that his insecurities were at the forefront of this book. The last book, so the first book, had depression. His depression has a forefront. This time it was insecurities. Of course, depression was still mentioned. We get to see also the whole financial situation taking a toll on both his mom and his dad, which I thought was very interesting because Darius always mentions how his dad always shaves, but at this point in time, he didn't because he was so stressed because of work, and he had to work and work and work, and he was going to places a lot of times, and that was taking a toll on him. Darius mentions that quite a lot. It is me from months after I filmed the initial part of this video months ago. I was still in school at that time. I still had long red hair, and now my hair is cut short, and it is summer, so it's been a while. I never got to do an outro or conclude my thoughts about this book because I was interrupted while I was filming, and that's fine, obviously, but for some reason, either I was too lazy to finish the video or I just didn't remember, and now we're here. I have to admit that I did miss a few key points, notes, whatever. I did not get to talk about them on camera because, again, I was interrupted, but that's fine. I just wanted to say that the thoughts that I did have were things that stood out to me, things that I remembered to remember when I finished the book, because I took notes when I finished the book completely, not while I was reading the book, which is kind of my fault, but I think I got the main points out and all of that. So all I'm doing right now is encouraging you guys to read the books because they're amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I am able to read a book soon because right now I'm just doing nothing.